A Lullaby for the Unborn. In our world, the chronicles of a family are not written in ink, but in the cyclical flow of love. We do not say our final goodbyes to the old. We say hello. Because old age is not decay. It is a long pilgrimage, the most sacred moment when a person has completed their journey in full to prepare for a new beginning. This is the story of Mai, and of the greatest gift she was about to give, which was also the gift she was about to receive. Her story begins at a quiet home, on a morning that should have been tinged with farewell, but was instead filled with a strange anticipation. Her parents, Mr. Phat and Mrs. Ann, were both past 80. They were not frail. On the contrary, they were in the most perfect, complete state of health of their lives. They sat on the porch, holding hands, watching the leaves fly backward from the ground onto the branches. "Are you all prepared, Mai?" her father asked. His voice held no anxiety, only a gentle concern. "Yes, father," Mai replied, taking his wrinkled hand. "Everything is ready. The room is prepared." Her mother smiled, the same kind smile that had followed Mai her entire life. "Don't be sad, my daughter. This is a beautiful journey. Your father and I have had a full life together, and now it is time for us to begin again." To begin again. In our world, that is not a metaphor. Mai had spent the entire month preparing the room, not a high-tech hospital room, but a nursery. She hand-painted the walls a milky white. She assembled a small wooden crib hanging cloud-shaped toys that her own mother had taught her to make. She folded every tiny diaper, every little piece of clothing. As her hands did the work, her heart was experiencing a strange farewell. Her memories, too, flowed backward. She wasn't remembering her childhood. She was remembering the future. She remembered her parents becoming strong adults, teaching her her first lessons, guiding her through life's storms. She remembered the moment they would smile with pride at her graduation. She was saying goodbye to those powerful, all-knowing parents to prepare to welcome two tiny, completely dependent souls. A week ago, the transition specialist had come to the house. She wasn't like a doctor with a grave expression, but like a gentle godmother, one who understood the rules of the current. "The rebirth process is proceeding smoothly," she said, after examining them both. "Their bodies have self-regulated to return to their primal state. Are you ready, Mai? The first stage will be very demanding." Mai simply nodded. "I have waited my whole life for this." And then, the moment arrived. Not in a hospital, but right in the living room of their old house, a place filled with their memories. Her parents wore their most comfortable clothes, sitting on the familiar sofa, holding each other's hands tightly. No machines, no medicine. Only love filled the air. "Mai," her mother whispered, "sing for us. That old song." Mai understood what she meant. She took a deep breath, trying to keep her voice from trembling. She began to sing. A lullaby. A lullaby not to soothe a child to sleep, but to welcome two souls about to be born. Hush now. The autumn wind blows. Mother sings you to sleep. Under the warm golden light, a miracle began. Her parents' bodies did not vanish, but slowly, gradually shrank. Their aged forms grew smaller and smaller. The wrinkles on their faces dissolved like mist touched by the sun. Their silver-white hair softened, thinned, returning to the fine threads of a newborn. They were like two flowers, closing their final petals to return to the form of a delicate bud. Mai kept singing, tears streaming down her cheeks. She wasn't crying for loss. She was crying for love, for the eternity of this cycle. She was witnessing the sacredness of the universe. When the lullaby ended, on the sofa where her parents had just been sitting, were two sleeping newborns, wrapped in a blanket that her own mother had knitted long ago. She gently lifted them, a boy and a girl. Their breath was warm and pure. She looked into their tiny faces and she saw her parents' entire lives. She saw her own past and she saw her own future. She was their child, and now she was also their mother. She held them close and whispered the most sacred greeting of all. "Welcome home, mother and father." The music swells to an emotional peak. then slowly fades into a peaceful silence. In-depth analysis and lesson learned. The channel's narrator speaks over the music and the most beautiful slow-motion shots from the video. In-depth analysis, a lullaby for the unborn, takes the paradox of time to a new level, touching the very core of family bonds and the cycle of life. The story is not merely an inversion of birth and death, but also a reversal of the roles of caregiver and the one cared for. Mai's maternal love is not a sacrifice, but a sacred continuation, an act of returning the gift of life she once received. This world blurs the lines between beginnings and endings, between children and parents. It suggests that love is not a straight line passing from one generation to the next, but a perfect circle with no beginning and no end. Death becomes a literal rebirth, and the sorrow of farewell is always accompanied by the hope of a new beginning. Lesson learned. The love within a family is a two-way stream. Today we are the children being cared for. Tomorrow we may become the ones who care for our parents. This story reminds us that caregiving and devotion are not burdens, but privileges. They are how we continue and repay the unconditional love we have received. Cherish every moment with your family because in the great cycle of life all roles can be exchanged. Only love is eternal.